The movie starts with a girl named Mel, and she's trying to run away from a masked person who's trying to kill her. Suddenly, that person shows up in front of her with a weapon in his hand. So Mel screams and tells him that she doesn't want to die again, and that means she died more than once before. Suddenly, that masked guy uses his weapon and finishes her off. After a full year passes, we see a group of friends traveling together to the same town where Mel disappeared to look for Mel. Their names are Clover, her ex named Max, a girl named Nanny, and her boyfriend Abel, and finally their Asian friend named Megan. When they arrive at the town, they stop in front of a supermarket and play a video of Mel before she disappeared. In the video, Mel was in that same place before she vanished, and we find out that Clover is Mel's sister, and she went on this trip with her friends just to look for her sister. Clover goes into the supermarket and asks the owner of the supermarket, whose name is Hill, about her sister who went missing a year ago. Hill tells her that there's a valley here called Glory, and anyone who passes through that valley disappears in a weird way. He advises her to go to that valley. Maybe she'll find her sister there. So, Clover comes out to her friends and tells them what happened, and they all get in the car together and head to Glory Valley. But halfway through the road, they start to feel a creepy vibe and feel totally uneasy about the place they're going to, especially when they face a strong storm. But as soon as they reach the valley, they find that the storm suddenly disappeared, and of course, they're all surprised by what happened and can't find any explanation. When they get out of the car, they find a hotel in front of them, so they go in and find that the hotel is completely empty. Nanny notices there's a strange-looking hourglass in the hotel, and she also notices there's a book where the names of guests are written, so she starts writing their names in it. Abel also starts exploring the place, and at that moment, he finds something really weird because he sees a big board with pictures of a lot of missing people, and one of them is Mel. When Nanny flips through the book, she finds that Mel's name is written more than once. So she calls her friends and shows them the book, and of course, they're all confused and have no idea what's going on. Night comes, and Nanny notices that the hourglass is flipped to the other side, so she asks her friends if anyone touched it, but they all say no. Suddenly, they hear a strange sound outside the hotel. So they go out to see what's going on and find that their car has moved from its place, even though the town is abandoned in the first place. They all get scared and go back to hide in the hotel again. And they keep looking for any phone they can use because there's no signal in the area, but when they find a phone, they discover that it has no dial tone either. At that moment, Nanny hears a strange sound. So she follows the source of the sound until she enters a room in the hotel where the sound is coming from. That's when the masked person appears, and she finds out he finished off Abel and then kills her too. At that point, Clover, Max, and Megan hear a scream, so they run toward it and find her murdered. When they see the masked person coming at them, they start running fast, and each one hides in a different place. Megan goes to hide in the closet, and Max and Clover go to hide behind the door. And as soon as the masked guy gets closer to them, Max grabs a chair and breaks it on him. But the weird thing is that the masked guy doesn't get hurt at all. The masked guy grabs the weapon and finishes off Max. Then he opens the closet, pulls Megan out, and keeps smashing her head on the floor until he kills her. Clover sees everything happening and is about to die from fear, so she quietly grabs a knife. Suddenly, she jumps on that guy and stabs him in the body, but the strange thing is that the masked man doesn't get affected at all. So, Clover quickly runs out of the hotel and goes to hide in the forest. That's when she sees her sister Mel coming toward her from far away, but she doesn't get to her because at that exact moment, the masked guy shows up next to Clover and finishes her off too. Moments later, the hourglass flips again and the day starts repeating. Suddenly, Clover and her friends find themselves back alive again. And of course, they're all in shock and can't believe they were killed and came back to life. They don't even understand what's happening at all. Suddenly, they see the hotel door opening and closing by itself, so they quickly go block the door. That's when Megan feels something strange about the place and tells them that something bad is going to happen. All of a sudden, she starts screaming loudly, and the power goes out. As soon as the power comes back on, they find that Megan disappeared. They start looking for her everywhere until they find her in front of the missing people wall, and she starts repeating the last words the missing people said before they disappeared. She tells her friends to stop anyone from entering the hotel no matter what. Suddenly, Megan dies. Moments later, they hear a knock on the hotel door. So they get closer to the door and hear Mel's voice begging them to open up. Clover quickly goes to open the door, but as soon as she opens it, she finds that her sister is gone. But the weird thing is that they see a house in front of them that wasn't there before. Suddenly, an invisible force pulls Clover toward the house. When her friends try to save her, they can't because the same invisible force pulls them back inside the hotel and locks them in. As soon as Clover enters the house, she finds an old creepy witch sitting alone, watching the news. The news is talking about the mine that exploded in the town, killing thousands of people in the accident. Clover tries to move away from her, but suddenly the witch gets up and tries to kill her. She tells her she has two choices: either face her fear or become part of the place. Suddenly, Clover dies. At the same time, we see Max trying to open the door to go save Clover, but Abel stops him and tells him that the right move now is to run away from this place and never look back. Max yells at him and reminds him that Clover is their friend and they can't just leave her and run. He starts being harsh with him and tells him that if he's doing all this just to get Clover back, she's still not coming back to him because she doesn't love him anymore. Max gets upset by what he said and tells him that he's cutting ties with him as soon as they get out of here. He leaves Max and walks out of the hotel. Of course, Nanny gets upset with Abel because of what he said and accuses him of being selfish and a coward. But Abel tells her that there's no other way but to run, and he tells her that his car came back in front of the house. He asks her to come get in the car with him so they can get out of here and call for help for their friends. Meanwhile, Max reaches the witch's house, and as soon as he goes inside, he finds Clover wearing a mask. It's clear she's been possessed, and she brutally finishes him off. At the same moment, Abel gets in the car with Nanny to run away. But they don't make it because the mask guy shows up in front of them again and finishes both of them off. After all of them die, the hourglass flips again, and suddenly they find themselves alive again. And their day starts repeating again. That's when they find out that the creatures killing them are the townspeople who died in the accident that happened 20 years ago. They also discover that they're trapped in a terrifying time loop they can't get out of. They're now completely sure that at the end of every night, they're going to die at the hands of a horrifying entity. So they all go hide in the bathroom and lock themselves in, and they decide to stay hidden until the sun comes up. That's because the witch told Clover before killing her that she has two options: either wait for the night to pass, or become part of the place and face the evil entities in it. Abel feels thirsty, so he opens the faucet and drinks from it, then gives water to his friends, and they all drink. But after a few moments, Abel starts feeling super sick and coughing up blood. Suddenly, he explodes and turns into pieces. Of course, all his friends start screaming from the shock and terror. That's when they realize the water they drank is cursed and is going to kill them all. Suddenly, Nanny explodes too. The rest of the group quickly runs out of the bathroom. That's when Megan feels terrible pain all over her body. And suddenly, her legs explode. She keeps screaming and crying, begging her friends to help her. But they're all terrified and don't know what to do. Suddenly, Megan's stomach swells up and explodes, and she dies. Right after that, Max explodes too. The only one left is Clover. She lies down on the ground and waits for her turn. But then something weird happens. She sees Hale walking toward her. Hale is the guy she met at the supermarket. He gets close to her and tells her that they'll stay stuck in this loop forever if they don't face their fears. Suddenly, Clover explodes too. Then the hourglass turns again and they all come back to life. Clover tells them she saw Hale and he must be the reason for all this. So they start searching the hotel for anything related to him, until they find his ID badge and discover he's a psychologist. They also find an old newspaper that says the town's mine exploded because the government drilled in the wrong spot. That caused all the houses in the town to collapse underground. The whole thing killed thousands of people. Then they keep exploring the hotel until they reach a door. They open it and find a long tunnel behind it, so they quickly shut the door again. After searching a bit, Max finds an old videotape and plays it. They see something super weird. A man trapped with a strange creature, begging Hale to let him out. But Hale refuses and keeps him locked up with that thing for many days, until the guy starts turning into a weird creature too. It becomes clear Hale is doing psychological experiments on people. Hale says in the video that everyone he experiments on ends up getting controlled by their fear, and they start developing muscle atrophy. Within 13 days, the person under the experiment gives up completely, and that's when fear, weakness, and hopelessness take over, turning them into a creature called a Wendigo. That's when Clover and her friends realize Hale is experimenting on them to turn them into Wendigos. Suddenly, the radio turns on, and they hear Hale's voice. Clover talks to him and tells him she wants to leave this place. He tells her that one of them has to die, but she refuses to sacrifice anyone and tells him she wants to meet him in person. He agrees and tells her to cross the forest. He'll be waiting for her there. Clover quickly leaves her friends and runs into the forest alone. Her friends try to stop her, but they can't, so they start chasing after her to save her. While they're running after her, a Wendigo creature shows up and tries to finish them off, but they manage to run away from it. At that time, Megan is trying to escape and accidentally falls into an underground house. A Wendigo creature shows up and grabs her. Max manages to reach Clover at the last second before the creature kills her. Clover asks him to finish her off and kill himself too, because they need to start the day over so they can come up with a new plan. Max listens to her and finishes her, then dies right after. Once the whole group is dead, a new day starts, and they wake up again and find themselves back in the hotel. But this time, Megan isn't with them, and no one knows where she went. That's when they find out they've been stuck in this time loop for 13 days. And all the people who were there before them only lasted 13 days, before turning into Wendigo creatures, which means there's no hope. They're also about to turn into Wendigos. When Abel checks his phone, he finds a video from Megan, saying that she's going after Hale to try and stop him. But Clover refuses to give in to reality and tells her friends that if they give in to their fear, they'll turn into Wendigos, and that they have to fight until their last breath. They all decide to go through the door that leads to the tunnel, and they keep walking until they find Wendigo creatures standing in front of them. They quickly start running away, and each one hides in a different spot. Suddenly, Clover finds herself all alone in an abandoned place. Then her sister suddenly appears in front of her after turning into a creature. Clover is forced to kill her sister because fear has taken over her and there's no way she can turn human again. After that, Clover keeps walking until she reaches Hale's lab where he does experiments on people. She finds Megan locked up with a Wendigo creature, and Clover doesn't know how to save her friend because she's locked in. She starts looking everywhere for the keys, but she doesn't find them. She keeps walking until she reaches Hale's office, and that's when Hale walks in holding a cup of coffee. Hale tells her that she's a special and very brave patient to him because she refuses to surrender to her fear like the other patients. He tells her that everything happening to them is just a reaction to their fear, and all of it is just inside their minds. They're the ones controlling this whole place because the place feeds on their fear, pain, and mental illnesses. Clover notices the pipe above her is dripping water and remembers that the water in this place is cursed and kills anyone who drinks it. So without Hale noticing, she puts his coffee cup under the dripping water to kill him, because the moment he dies, the whole experiment will end, since he's the one controlling the experiment and somehow controlling their minds. As soon as Hale drinks that water, he explodes and dies. Clover quickly grabs his keys and runs to free Megan. Then they go to meet up with the rest of their friends, and they're all alive and were able to face their fears and kill the Wendigo creatures. Finally, daylight breaks and the nightmare ends. They all get in the car and leave that cursed place quickly, and the movie ends. See you in the next recap. If you're vibing with the video, make sure to slam that like and spill your opinions and comments. I'm hyped to read them. And yo, gotta subscribe so you catch all the straight fire recaps coming soon.